Good afternoon, everybody. This is another episode of the Freelance Teacher Videocast. Welcome back. And I'd like to talk to you tonight about three major educational distractions. And I use the word distractions because I think the idea of becoming educated is paramount. I think being educated is exceedingly important. And those of your friends who are educated, you can tell the difference between those people and those who are not. People by the way they act, you can tell if they are educated or not. And it really is socially beneficial, intellectually beneficial, morally and spiritually beneficial to be an educated person. It really makes a difference. It allows you to navigate life in a superior way. And you'll notice I use the word educated on purpose. I don't say schooled. I don't say going through school and getting your degrees from school. So the distractions that I'm talking about, of course, naturally come from school. And the first distraction that I'm discussing is the adherence to and focus on tests. It's gotten so much worse over the past couple of years that in New York State, anyway, you have now a battery of exams that the last time I checked begin in third grade. So now you have 8-year-olds taking exams in English and math at the very least. And these exams are pushed as important and vital, and that they mean something, and that they're exceedingly important, and they will have an effect on the young person's future. And I can't think of anything that would be further from the truth. These are exams to 8-year-olds, and then again in 4th, 5th, 6th, right, 9, 10, 11 years old. And these exams in the New York public school system are, in effect, a distraction. Think of all of the hours spent studying for the 4th grade ELA or the 7th grade math test. There's probably a shred of benefit to a math test to some degree, but all of the hours spent, the huge cost in time to the exams, is a distraction. It's time wasted. It wouldn't be too difficult for you to come up with 5 to 10 things that you would rather have your children or yourself or your neighbor's kids spend time on that would be more effective. Possibly even something as simple as going on a crafty science website at home and learning from that, or walking into the woods with a guide and learning about nature and all the things that go along with it. That's just stuff that comes off the top of my head. And this adherence to and focus on exams is a distraction of the highest order, especially in high school in New York, where we have Regents exams that are seen as, if you fail the Regents, you fail the class, and then you're back to square one and you have to take the test again. And if you don't pass the test, you don't get your diploma. And if you don't get your diploma, basically it's all over. That's it for you. So the testing distraction is horrible. The second distraction is this unrelenting focus on going to college. And maybe 20 years ago, it made a lot more sense. Well, let me rephrase that. I know 20 years ago, it did make more sense. I finished college around 20 years ago, and it did make more sense to go to the university, simply because economically it made a lot more sense. Well, now I don't think economically it makes much more sense, because are the studies still out there that a college degree guarantees you more income? I don't think so. And what are you getting with a humanities degree? Let's just stick with that for now, right? Because there probably is still some inherent value in a degree in engineering or a degree in the hard sciences or math. But the humanities, I think, have completely lost their way. What do you learn and what do you get from that school that you can't get from reading the book itself and looking at analysis online, right? Or listening to a lecture on the book online, or going to the freelance teacher and finding out good stuff about literature directly from me online. There are a lot of things to do. And when you think about it like this, the universities are still using the same methods that the ancient Greeks and Romans used. They're still using this Socratic sit in front of a class and have the lecturer lecture in one direction to the group, and you sit and listen and take notes. That was being done 4,000 years ago. And you're telling me that that's still the best way? And old doesn't mean bad. Old doesn't mean it's terrible. But in terms of methods of learning and the amount of time you spend, and even more pertinent now, the amount of dollars you spend on your Socratic lecture, I just don't think it's worth it. And this distraction of you have to jump through these hoops in high school so that you can go to college is destructive and massively a distraction. I just don't see it. The last one is the obsession, especially in college, with race. So you go to high school and you get your degree, and then you go to college, and what do you get? You get bombarded with Frankfurt School cultural Marxism. You get political correctness as not just a suggestion, as a way to think and speak and act. And you get everything couched in race. And people are confused by this sometimes. I don't think people are aware of what's going on at the universities. But what you can do is, and I challenge somebody on this, go to a course catalog, look in any humanities, English, American studies, and look at the focus on race. Look up what intersectionality is. That will be part and parcel of your humanities courses in college. And this obsession, and I see it as irrational focus on race, is a distraction. Let's go through the same thought exercise. Think of the huge numbers of things that you could be analyzing other than race. How about how to start a business? How about Austrian economics, monetary theory? Look at our economic system in the United States. Try to figure out what free market capitalism is really supposed to be about. Maybe take down the lies that you hear about Western history and Western culture and free market capitalism, and you'll see how people become successful. They certainly don't become successful by getting a degree in race and then going out into the world and peddling their expertise on race. There is nothing wrong with reading about lots of these things, but going to college and paying huge prices to take classes on race, I think, is a distraction from work that could be more valuable. The other thing is, you want to be talked about, and people listen to you, and you can talk to and be spoken with and say things that have substance. You're going to need to be successful. People listen to people who are successful. And if you've got a degree in race, then unless you're already independently wealthy, what's that going to get you in terms of success? It's not going to make you wealthy, not by a long stretch. And the uncomfortable truth that Edward Bernays and all the other propagandists and public relations people understood was that people listen to those who are successful. So the guy in the other room down the hall in the dormitory who's learning about business, or is studying on his own to open a business or sell a product or a service, that person has a better chance of becoming successful. And then whatever that guy's opinions are, or that woman's opinions, right? We have to be politically correct. That man or woman will be listened to more than you. Why? Because they're more successful. They have a higher station in life. They live better. They drive up in a beautiful car. And young people in particular are amazed by that, and they love it, and they hear you speak, and they see how you dress, and you're seen as an authority. Now, I don't like the logical, fallacious nature of that, but that's how it is. So the distractions that you get are keeping you, in my opinion, from being your educationally vibrant self. I think they're distracting you from other things that would be more valuable to you. And the price that you pay to focus on these exams and have this maniacal obsession with getting into college as if it's the only way to do things today, and then going to college and learning about race, there are more effective ways to spend your time. And the first thing to do, and I'll end with this, is find a couple of books, either digital or paper, and start reading them on your own. and let those pathways that all of a sudden open from those books take you down other pathways, and then do the same thing on the internet. And that intellectual curiosity that you have rediscovered because you're not listening to a lecture will open the floodgates, and you'll be educated, and you'll be educating yourself, and it will be more fulfilling than a huge tuition bill to listen to some middle-aged person who's a person of the left, who's simply telling you that the answer to everything is we need a government program to fix a problem. Right? I mean, come on. That's better. That's something new, as if we haven't seen the abject failure of that philosophy. So your new way of reading and discovering and linking on the web and crawling down rabbit holes to find out what else you can learn will be more fulfilling every which way. And then you're on your path, right? And then you're on the way to true education. I think that'll be better. You should try it. Take my advice. I think it'll help. Don't worry about homework. You're not going to get any because you're in control of the schedule. All right. Take care. This has been the Freelance Teacher. Hope things are going well for you. Talk to you next time.